She threw my son into the storm like he was trash, screaming, "Your brat ruined my day!" And no one stopped her, not my wife, not her mother, not the blood they all claimed bound us together. I watched from the kitchen window, frozen, not out of fear, but calculation. Ethan hit the wet ground with a yelp. The rain swallowed his scream. He scrambled to his feet, confused, hurt, soaked. He looked back at the door, still cracked open behind her, his tiny hands shaking. He was 5. He still held his toy spaceship. She didn't even flinch. Neither did my wife's mother when she whispered, "He needs to learn his value." That was the moment something in me closed. Not snapped, no. Snapping is emotional. This was colder than that, more precise. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to end them. I once loved Shelby like a sister, trusted her. We all did. When I married Ella, Shelby was the maid of honor. She toasted us, danced with Ethan when he was just learning to walk. I remember thinking, she'll always protect him. But power reveals truth. And when Ella's father died last year, leaving Shelby executor of the family trust, that's when her claws came out. She started coming over unannounced, talking over me, giving orders. "That rug looks cheap," she'd mutter. "He's still in speech therapy? You're wasting money." I smiled, stayed polite, for Ella, for Ethan, for the image. Then Ethan spilled orange juice on her handbag, some overpriced symbol of her status, and she lost it. But throwing a child outside in a thunderstorm? That was no accident. That was a message. And now she'd hear mine. I played dumb at first. That night, I wrapped Ethan in towels, held him until he slept. My wife was quiet, not apologetic, quiet. The kind of silence that comes from guilt you're too cowardly to admit. I let it sit. Let them think I was just a passive father, a soft man they could talk over. But every day after that was a move. I installed a camera above the door, disguised, quiet. I encouraged Shelby to visit more, played cordial, let her dig her own grave. I started recording everything. The insults, the threats, the way she'd hiss cruel things to Ethan when no one else was looking, except my lens. She didn't know that the same boy she belittled was wearing a child-safe mic in his jacket. I filed paperwork, opened a new trust in Ethan's name, transferred our savings, spoke with an attorney. And then, something golden. An anonymous tip led me to a financial discrepancy in the family trust. Shelby was embezzling. Quietly, monthly. Just enough to stay hidden. Until it wasn't. I waited 3 months. 3 months of smiles, of Sunday dinners, of nodding while Shelby joked about parenting failures. Until the family fundraiser. It was a garden event. White tents, caviar and jazz quartets, my wife's entire family, old money and pearl smiles, the perfect audience. I took the mic. I was just thanking everyone for their donations. That's what they expected. Instead, I played the first clip over the speaker system, Shelby's voice, hissing, "Your kid's defective. You should have aborted him when you had the chance." Gasps. A few clutched pearls. Then a video, grainy, time-stamped, Shelby grabbing Ethan by the collar and shoving him against the wall, him crying. Then a flash of my screen, mirrored onto the event's projector. Spreadsheets, bank transfers, a highlighted Excel cell showing $213,000 missing, all traced to Shelby. Dates, times, fake vendors. Shelby froze. My wife, white as bone. Her mother blinked like she couldn't understand what she was seeing. Shelby stepped forward. "He's lying." I looked at her, calm, calculated. "You're under investigation," I said. "There's a warrant. You should hear from the board by morning." And then, perfect timing, the police arrived at the gates. Not for her arrest, not yet, just to escort her out. She screamed, shoved a table, knocked over wine glasses, and just like that, the elite crowd parted around her like she was filth. Ella didn't come home that night. When she finally called, she begged me not to press charges, said her sister wasn't well, that we should keep it in the family. I told her there was no family, not anymore. The next week, I filed for full custody, presented the evidence, everything recorded, archived, time-stamped. The judge barely looked at Ella. I kept the house, took back my name. My son kept his safety and his silence. I didn't let him watch the tapes. He didn't need to know the full ugliness of what they said about him. But one night he asked me, "Why don't we see them anymore?" I smiled and said, "Because we don't keep people who hurt us." Shelby lost everything, not just the trust fund. Her name was scorched. The charity revoked her position. Her friends vanished. Her mother tried to fight me in court, tried to claim I was manipulating the system. So I played the clip of her saying Ethan needed to learn his value. That shut the courtroom down. Ella? She chose silence, couldn't even look me in the eye during the proceedings. I don't hate her. I just don't respect her anymore. They thought I was the weak one, the soft-spoken man, the quiet husband, the one who stayed in the background at family parties. But they forgot something important. Quiet is not weak. Stillness is not surrender. And watching does not mean I won't act. They threw my son into a storm. I returned the favor. Only mine didn't wash away with the rain. It stuck. It rotted. It dragged them down like dead weight in water. And now I wake up every morning, make breakfast with Ethan, and when he smiles, I know. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers.